Of course, what we know Fenway Park for most of all is Red Sox, all the great memories, all the World Series championships of late. We waited 86 years for that. We waited 47 years for football to come back. So for the first time since 1968, it's the Boston College Eagles versus the Notre Dame Irish here in the Emerald Palace that is Fenway Park.
Fenway Park for many decades was really a people's park. Back in the 30s, you were as apt to meet someone who had gone to a game here as you were someone who had dirt under their fingernails from having played here.
If you go back to 1912, when the stadium opened, this was where you played football. Boston College, Holy Cross, VU all played here, as did every professional football team, including ones that no one else remembers, also were here.
The last college football game played at Fenway Park was December 1st, 1956, where Holy Cross beat Boston College 7-0. And then the last professional game played here was with the Patriots beating the Bengals on December 1st, 1968. And in between, there was the game that was not played, and it was the game that was scheduled for November 23rd, 1963, between BU and BC. And of course that game was not played because it was to be played on the day after John F. Kennedy was assassinated.
This was 50 years ago this year. My brother Bill and I were here watching the Patriots play football. It was the day they got eliminated in 1965 by the Buffalo Bills, and the crowd was not happy. It's the first, I think, pro football we'd seen. And you had middle-aged guys who brought their own bottles of liquor here, and they were drinking and yelling and screaming at the Patriots quarterback, Babe Perilli. They say goodbye, you sweet Kentucky babe. so whenever I think of football here, that's what I think of. Of course, the year before, the Patriots played the Bills in the AFC Division title game in 4 inches of snow.
Arctic weather in Fenway Park, and Boston's ball against the Buffalo Bills in this do-or-die finale. Babe Perilli can't find a receiver and is finally snowed under.
And then, of course, the 1942 game between Holy Cross and BC is noteworthy because Holy Cross upset BC 55-12 in a game where BC was expected to win by about that score.
And that night, of course, was the Coconut Grove fire. Almost 500 people died, and the BC team was supposed to go and celebrate their victory, had they won, at the Coconut Grove. And Harry Aganis, who was a Red Sox star, who died tragically young, played quarterback for BU at Fenway Park before he really ever played baseball here for the Red Sox.
Arguably the greatest football game played at Fenway Park was in 1940 between Boston College and Georgetown. Boston College back Charlie O'Rourke ran around his own end zone for nearly 20 seconds to be caught for a safety to prevent Georgetown from getting the ball back on a 4th down where they could have scored a field goal to win the game. Instead, BC gave up the 2 points but won by 1 point. And it was a game that was at the time considered a game to decide who would be number 1 or 2 in the country.
So Fenway's a football place again. It hasn't been a football place in a very long time. The last game played here, December 1st, 1968, when the Patriots beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Here we are, Notre Dame against Boston College, the Catholic Super Bowl, as some people would call it, on November 21st, 2015. So 47 years later, football makes its return to Fenway Park.